Good morning, and happy Groundhog Day. Happy Groundhog Day. That's a real holiday, here in America. Phil did not see his shadow today, right? Phil, Phil the Groundhog? Love Phil the Groundhog, right? They fucking guys with the top hats, they let him out today, and he picks out the magic scroll that's going to predict the weather. This is how we do things right now, right? The fucking magic greyhound, you gotta love it. Not the greyhound, but the beaver, the greyhound, man, the groundhog. Excuse me. I haven't been feeling well lately, so just bear with me, man. It's my energy. My energy has been sucked. It's been sucked a little bit. So there's a lot to talk about today. Marcus Conte reporting. So there's all kinds of shit going on. I had an interesting conversation with Lee Camp. You should definitely watch it. Quick 30 minutes. Lee Camp and I love Lee Camp of Redacted Tonight. Excellent comedian, author. I see him mostly as an activist. I don't really see him as a comic or a TV personality. I see him more as a vintage, authentic, activist right back from, Occupy Wall Street days. So check it out. My conversation with him about 100 ways to cheat Bernie Sanders. Right? It's crazy, man. Bernie Sanders is on the brink of winning over the people in the Democratic Party. Or is it the Democratic Party at all? Is it just the Independent Party? And people seem to be turning their back on it, saying, no, Bernie's he's a sellout, he's a socialist, he's a communist, he can't win, he's got $1 million, he's... it baffles the mind that the guy is running right now as an independent insurgents into the Democratic Party, and everybody agrees that the Democrats are awash and the Republicans are awash, that the two parties are totally screwing over the country. But here comes the insurgent Bernie Sanders, and people say, no, he's a sellout. I don't know. It is baffling. I want to talk about the two new ways that the DNC is preparing to cheat Bernie Sanders. You heard? Talk about those in a second. But Monday is the Iowa caucus, which basically means people go to the poll and they pick out their candidate in a very democratic process where there's no paper ballots. I think it's by show of hands. Anybody with less than 15% of the vote, the people that pick that candidate with less than 15% get to re-pick somebody else. So you have a conclusive winner. And Bernie Sanders is clearly the favorite to win on Monday. So we'll watch that. I'll go live probably around 8 p.m. or so. Polls open at 7 in Iowa. Shut down at 9. I think it's Mountain Time, so it's probably 10 o'clock our time. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. Coronavirus, just quickly, did coronavirus start in a laboratory in China or Canada? Or is that the new conspiracy theory? Because we can't believe that it started spontaneous from abusing pigs, hog flu. Is it possible that it was leaked from a laboratory? I don't know. The evidence is not conclusive at this point, but we'll keep it open. Possibility, right? It was a man-made virus and it slipped out of a laboratory. But what is true is that it does appear that the statistics, I had said it right away, that it's no, 100 people or 200 people. It's in the thousands and thousands of people that are infected by coronavirus. And there's also evidence that China was exterminating bodies or incinerating bodies. cremating bodies of the dead from corona. Now again, it's China. We never get the facts. We'll never get the full facts. But it is interesting that coronavirus is spreading like wild across the globe right now. And only two short weeks ago, it was no problem. Don't worry about it. Nothing to see here. So, Super Bowl Sunday. Kansas City Chiefs versus the 49ers. The most important part of that is that there will be no, at least for me, there will be no halftime event. Why? Jennifer Lopez? Does anybody want to see that? Jennifer Lopez singing? I'll pass. Kobe Bryant is still dead. If you haven't heard, it's all over the news. It's a constant barrage of tear jerking for Kobe and his 13-year-old. It's a very sad event, but all right already. People die, you know. People die. He lived a good life. 41 years on the top of his game. All right, let him go. All right, there's no foul play. All right, so Kobe Bryant is officially dead and will continue to be dead for a long time. I thought that was a groundhog. It was a person. So, what else? Impeachment. Oh, shit, impeachment. Nothing. All right, all the posturing, no witnesses. Oh, we're going to get him. We got him. Trump's going down. Nothing. What a waste. It took the Democrats. It took the eye off of Bernie Sanders. Forced them to sit in the chair at least till Wednesday. Looks like they'll wrap it up on Wednesday. They'll vote to I guess vindicate or let go or not indict or not remove from office the President of the United States. So what a waste of time. What a scar on American history, right? So what else is going on? So that's it, you know. So let's talk about the two new ways that Bernie Sanders is getting ripped off by the Democrats. The Democrats, now this is official. It's unbelievable, right? Dems have changed the DNC rules involving the debate, meaning that the old rule used to be that there were two criteria to get on the debate stage. One, you had to have polling data over a certain threshold, maybe 5%, 6%, 7%. And you had to have a certain amount of individual donors per state. Those were the rules that everybody played by until now. Remember a long time ago I told you that the most dangerous guy in the game is Michael Bloomberg, the 50 billionaire, and you combine the fact that he has $50 billion and you combine the fact that the DNC has nothing and that they're totally for sale, the corporate Democrats are totally for sale, and that Mike Bloomberg is making an attempt to purchase the DNC's influence and for his own personal run. So, based on that notion, all the money that Mike Bloomberg gave, he got them to change the rules. So now, because Michael Bloomberg has no individual donors, he has no individual coalition of supporters and grassroots people running around out in the rain knocking on doors for Mike Bloomberg. It's all pay for play. He's got a lot of money, and he goes to the radio stations and the TV stations and the multimedia stations and says, here's my money, promote me. So the rule that individual donors, that you need X amount of individual donors, is now off the table, thank you to Mike Bloomberg, who has influenced the DNC and change the rules in mid play. Wow. It's nice to be a billionaire, right? Fucking, you see what money can buy? All right? So that's one. The other one, and this is huge if the Democrats pull this off. The biggest contention in 2016 was the idea that superdelegates exist and that superdelegates can vote in the primary for a candidate. Superdelegates meaning one person with 10,000 votes, and there's 700 of them. So you do the math. It's enough to swing the election, right? There's the existence of superdelegates. Now, in 2016, the rule changed that, you remember in 2016, Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders wins the primary, but Hillary Clinton somehow won. Right? And they post the numbers, and Hillary Clinton blew Bernie Sanders away by 20% because they were counting the pay-for-play superdelegates, the rich insiders that are essentially there to cheat in the Democratic primary. Cheat for the corporatists. You remember that? And CNN would post it. Right? The election was close. Bernie Sanders, 52% of the vote. Hillary Clinton, 28% of the vote. Hillary Clinton wins. How? Because of the superdelegates. Because all of the superdelegates had already broke for Hillary Clinton before even a single vote was counted. How undemocratic is that? So the move was to make it where the superdelegates exist, but only on the second ballot at the DNC, meaning that they're required to stay silent. Their vote does not count till after the pledged delegates, which are the real people, actually vote. Right? So now it was only the point of it is that it's very, very few people. There's 700 superdelegates, and what you're hearing is that the superdelegates have overwhelmingly rose up to change the rule. That's not true. It's only a half a dozen or so superdelegates speaking up. So that could be Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton. It could be, John Podesta. All the people, a governor here and there. It's only a handful of people. And the likelihood that the rule will change midway is really slim to none. It's more of a scare, but it is something to talk about, that the Democrats are floating the idea of changing the rules midway. Now, the bigger part of it is that they don't need to change the rules. They've already done the effective cheat, which is to crowd the field with guys like Mike Bloomberg trying to suck 10% of the vote. Crowd the field so that nobody gets to 50% of the pledged delegates. Very important to understand. If nobody gets to 50% of the pledged delegates at the convention, meaning that Bernie gets 48% and everybody else gets 10 and 20 and 30, even though he has the person with the most votes doesn't win. Excuse me. The person with the most votes doesn't win in America. You heard? So what will happen is it goes to a second vote, and that's where the superdelegates could kick in. So that's where they'll overturn the election. Now, has it ever happened in modern history where the Democrats have nominated the person with with less votes or no votes? It happened once in 1968 where they put Hubert Humphrey into the nomination. They overlooked Robert Kennedy because he died, he got shot, and Eugene McCarthy, both of whom accumulated a few million votes. But they gave the election to the corporatist And what happened? They went on to lose to Richard Nixon. So did it happen in 2016? No, not exactly. Instead, the Democrats just outright cheated and pretended that Hillary Clinton had the most votes. So in 2020, that's what we're looking for right now. Not so much the switch in the rule where superdelegates can vote on the first ballot, but where the superdelegates overthrow the will of the people. And to that, they will lose. Of course they will lose. At this point, as I've said all along, if Bernie Sanders is not the candidate, right? If Bernie Sanders is not the Democratic candidate, the insurgent candidate, Donald Trump will win the next president, will win the presidency. And you may like that. You may think Donald Trump is for you. Oh, he's for you. He's draining the swamp. He's locking her up. He's building the wall. Blacks have never been working so hard. Hispanic unemployment is way down. If you believe all that stuff, rather than he's fully and 100% and totally in the pocket of the corporate oligarchs, if you believe anything other than that, then good luck with your Trump. Right? How could you say that the Republican Party is a corporatist party and the Democratic Party are corporatist parties, and then you support Donald Trump because you somehow in your crazy mind view him as an outsider, an insurgent, when nothing could be further from the truth? He's just a feel-good. He's a pacifier. And then also to the people that say, well, nothing's going to change. You just believe in elections, Conte. Look how romantic you are about elections. You believe that shit. I don't believe it. Well, we got to believe in something. We have to believe in a general good orderly direction in this country. That Sanders does represent a deflation or an equalization of income and wealth inequality in this country, where 3 people have more wealth than the bottom half of the country, where 60 or 70% of the country doesn't have $1,000 to their name, living in abject poverty, 1 in 7 on food stamps, maybe 1 in 6. Real unemployment, probably around 20%. People are struggling. They're getting by with a lot less. So if that doesn't bother you, if you want to hold on to your high horse, embrace the words, socialist, we will never be a socialist country. Communist, he's a communist. If you believe all that stuff, there's nothing I could say that's going to change your mind. Right? But it will be interesting. There's a lot on the line in Iowa. Monday. The good people of Iowa in the middle of the country are going to decide. They're going to decide. The first votes will be cast. And it looks like it's going to be Bernie Sanders. The people are about to speak. Then, with no help of the Democratic establishment, they tried to stick a knife in his back every way. And he's winning. Oh my God, he's winning. Well, let's wait for the vote to come in. Let's wait for the vote to come in. So I'm getting a message. My battery is low. Marcus Conte reporting.